President Schmidt, definitely appreciate you taking time for us. I know it's such a momentous time there in Harrisonburg with the JMU football program. I want to start just with the university as a whole. What has, I guess, the football success and really any success from athletics, what has that done to campus in terms of morale and really just boosting interest for the or the university there?
Well, it was almost a year ago that I did a secret shopper trip to campus while I was a candidate and had a chance to talk to students all over campus. Nobody asked me who I was and why I was asking them questions. But what I heard over and over again was what a big deal game day was on the university. So students would spend the week talking about what was going to happen at the game and over the weekend, and then they'd spend the next week after the game talking all about the game and what was exciting about it and how much fun they had. So I know from a campus morale perspective, certainly being a part of a winning team always feels good. There are very few football environments that are like James Madison University that brings together community, alumni, faculty, staff, and of course the students, which really put everything they have into it, including the new thing of tarps off in the fourth quarter. And I'll tell you, these guys who are out there when it's 30 degrees and pretty chilly, pretty impressive. I will also say, what impact it's had on the university is everyone's talking about James Madison University. If you take a look at any of the news coverage from the CFP, it's all about whether or not we should have gotten in. People are doing some trash talking that we don't deserve it. Well, my feeling is just keep talking about it. When everything is about college football and everyone's talking about James Madison, quote Al Pacino, they'll never see us coming. We underestimate us. I hope they do. And I'm looking forward to a great game on Saturday.
Yes, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. It's one of those things of, hey, just keep talking. We'll be around. We're still relevant. We're here. We're gonna show
Yep.
up. We're gonna play the games. I couldn't help but remember from the introductory press conference with Coach Napier, you touched on how you guys had that similar kind of experience of coming to campus, getting a feel for things, and wanting to actually do that and make it feel tangible. How important was that for you and your decision making and actually getting there to Harrisonburg?
Well, certainly there'd been a lot of buzz even before the season started that if we had too good of a football year, Coach Chesney was at risk of being hired away because he's a talented coach, did amazing things with our team. And so the athletic director and I were speaking really from the moment I even got onto campus, talking about needing to be prepared for that, starting to evaluate who might potential targets of a recruiting effort be. And as soon as the news came out of Florida that Coach Napier is available, he went to the top of the list. We had some support from alumni and friends who helped in that recruiting process. So I had done, I'm losing a little track of time, a week ago, Wednesday, I had an opportunity to do a more lengthy Zoom interview with him, along with a member of our board of visitors. And it was clear after that interview that the top choice of the search committee was also my top choice. I got a call the next day, Thursday, from the AD and said, "You'll never believe it, Billy's on campus." And I said, "Well, let's have a chance to welcome him properly and have a chance to do a little follow-up effort." In this process, it's both sides. It's like a good marriage. Both sides got to want it to be able to work together and have the alignment that Coach Napier has talked about. It was a great conversation. We went up in the press box, took a look at not only the field, but what kind of our vision for an expansion and entertainment district might look like around it, bringing more students onto campus, doubling down on the success we've had. And it was clear that Billy knew exactly what we're talking about, and he was as excited about the development of the campus and the trajectory of the university as he was the football program. And that told me that we had a partner. And again, that alignment between president, AD, football coach, or any coach, or frankly, dean's academic areas as well. Anytime you can find alignment, you're set for success, because then you spend all your energy going forward, not checking the rear view mirror or the side view mirrors, wondering what's coming around you, because everyone's in alignment.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Does it feel, I guess, not awkward, but also, I guess, exciting as well, right? Because Bob isn't quite done yet. He's still coaching you through the CFP, but yet you're also looking forward. I guess that brings more excitement. Is that right?
Oh, I think there's a great deal of excitement, and I'm a huge fan of Coach Chesney. I traveled with the team to every away game except for one I wasn't able to get to. So when you spend time on the plane, on the buses, at breakfast or lunch or dinner with the team, sitting in some of the coaching sessions that were immediately before the games to hear the approach, it's very clear that Coach Chesney is a class act. He knows how to motivate players, knows how to bring out the best in people. When I met him on the field after the Sun Belt Championship a couple Friday nights ago, first thing I did after I knew it was going to be announced the following day, I said, Coach, thank you for the class way that you're exiting here and looking on to your new opportunity. You're doing it with a great deal of class, and it's really appreciated. He says, I'm doing the best I can, President. I promise you, we'll continue to make this right. And I think you saw the news coverage. Both Coach Napier and Chesney were on the field together, watching practice, being involved in that. And I think that shows, I mean, I hate to say the peaceful transition of power, but we've seen dysfunctional transitions of power, both on the football field and other places as well. So it's good to know that at the university named for the framer of the Constitution, the peaceful transition of power can be an excellent one.
Yeah, that's a great example. That's a great example for that. The CFP, what comes along with that? Obviously, us being on I guess, the front side of it, or the side the fans are on as well, in terms of seeing, you get into a game, a high caliber game, national attention. What's that look like, perhaps behind the curtain a little bit, in terms of logistics and everything that you guys there have to put in place and do to, I guess, make the game happen, but also make sure everybody's prepared at the same time, logistically?
Well, I appreciate you raising it because we may be in the big time for football. We're competing among the best in the country. And yet James Madison University does not have the wealth and therefore all the staff that the big time programs have. And so I just want to shout out to the AD's office, everybody in athletics, the people in the advancement division, people in the president's office that are scrambling to make sure we have the charter planes to get the team and the band there, to the buses, the coordination of hotels, for helping to coordinate opportunities for the fans. By the way, I've always heard James Madison travels well. Our huge tailgate party that we set up immediately before the game is already sold out. I've been hearing from fans all over the country who are so excited to be there, but it relied on really people, in a whole new area working really hard, and big shout out to that team.
This national attention, what does it do for not just recruiting players, but what's it do academically for you all in continuing to advance forward the JMU brand once again on a national stage there?
Well, the university's been through a lot of change. As you know, we were a women's college up until the early 70s. The football team only started in 1972. So who would have thought think we're the only team ever been in anything like this that was historically a women's college, to be able to have the football. So things have changed, but the university has tripled in its size since the 80s. It's had massive development, far more in demand. We've risen to a research university status. So this is a university that's on the move. And I will tell you that if you take a look at the top public universities in the country, top-notch academics and top-notch athletics go together. I remember being in the Midwest. We had Chancellor come into UW-Madison, and frankly, their teams, the other Madison, as I refer to them, their teams were not good. And Donna Shalala said, look, if we're going to be a world-class university with world-class academics, we need world-class athletics as well. They're partners. And so many people want to say it's either this or that. And I believe you can do both. It builds community. It builds for stronger retention rates, stronger alumni support of the university. It brings attention to it. Our marketing budget could never get our name in front of so many people. And frankly, we're attracting more of a national audience. For football, we're also seeing a national audience for the number of prospective students who want to come to James Madison University. These things are linked, and it's a sign of a strong university.
Yes, I was actually going to ask about that, because we're starting to see more and more of the bigger institutions frankly, they're just now learning that. They're just now starting to appreciate that. To know that you're at a place that's already kind of been at the forefront of noticing that, hey, that there's a great correlation between the academics and athletics. How nice is it to not sit back because there's still work involved, right? But to be able to not be behind the line, so to speak. You guys are right there towards the front and noticing that and actually taking steps to be proactive rather than reactive.
Well, we're in an amazing position. I'm grateful that we've had leadership in athletics who've been able to keep up in the NIL environment, right? We're never going to be right there, well, at least not in the next 10 years, probably not going to be there. We're saying Alabama and some of the other top teams in the country have been, but we're a little more scrappy. And frankly, there's a parallel to how I'm going to lead this university. We're going to be nimble, responsive, entrepreneurial, scrappy in how we invest these limited dollars that are entrusted to us and that are given to us by our benefactors. We have to be thoughtful and we have to play the rules of the game. And for those who want to spin in their chair and say, I don't like the state of college sports, well, then the choice is not to compete in it. And I do believe that anything we put our energy into, we have to do it with excellence. Being really bad at a particular sport is not a choice. If we're going to compete, if we're going to off the sport, we owe it to the athletes to make sure it's a competitive environment. And I have to say, pretty much up and down the roster and across our teams, James Madison University athletics have been a powerhouse.
I would certainly agree with that. My last question, I know you haven't been there in Harrisonburg for too long, but what have you learned the most? What have you come to appreciate the most just about being there and being in such a prestigious role and leading such a great university?
Well, I think there's a reason why Harrisonburg has the moniker of the friendly city, because my wife and I have been so warmly welcomed to the area. My wife had mentioned to me it feels a magical place because she's already met so many good friends in the community, some connected to the university, others she's just running into at a hair salon, at the grocery store, or when she's out and about. We really have a sense of being at home. And that was really the purpose of my secret shopper visit. I wanted to understand the university, but I also wanted to understand Harrisonburg as an area. We're really thrilled to be here. I might add, I had an interesting phone call just yesterday. I had a phone call with the president of the University of Oregon because we're friends. And so it was a nice reason to reach out to him. Carl Scholes he was a dean and a provost at University of Wisconsin-Madison. And so we had served together in the universities of Wisconsin while I was chancellor at Eau Claire. And you're gonna break the news. I don't think we've put anything out yet, so we've got a little bet placed on this game. If Oregon wins, I owe the president a Virginia ham, and he said, "Well, if we win, I will be getting a bottle of Oregon's finest Pinot." So it's a ham versus a great bottle of wine, and I'm sure that as my wife and I open that bottle of wine, it'll be some of the best tasting wine we've ever had because it'll mean our next trip will be to Miami in the Orange Bowl.
Like that. I like that. Yes,
It's a
indeed.
little ironic. So we have friends from Wisconsin, and he's been in Oregon. He's in his third year. So you have two leaders at the University of Wisconsin have gone to opposite coasts. So you got one on the West Coast and one on the East Coast, but we're coming together for football.
What, David? That's amazing. That's amazing. I love the little friendly wager there too. You got to have a little spin on it, right? Have a little fun
You
with
do.
it. That is
You do.
great. I know I mentioned that was my last question, but I would be remiss if I didn't ask. Also coming together with other universities within the state. I know earlier in the football season we saw the first edition of the Battle of the Blue Ridge with Liberty
Yep.
University,
Yep.
and just seeing having something to play for, something tangible, a trophy. It means
Right.
something, right? And I was there
Right.
at the game and being able to see that. How important is that to have those nice in-state games where you go against those within your region and to bring out some of that fan flair and fan flavor as well?
It's great for the fans, right? First of all, it can be really expensive to travel to these games. So obviously, if we can get our team on a bus and if we can get alumni and friends from across the Commonwealth just getting in a car and going a couple hours. It makes so much more fun. And frankly, I've found those in-state rivalries have been friendly, found the fans at Liberty to be very polite. And, I'm hoping that we're still going to be able to play Virginia Tech next year. I think that will be an interesting game because you will have had two big name coaches that have come to Virginia, and it'll be an interesting square off. So I'm hoping we can do more of that. Certainly want to do it again with basketball and all the other sports as well for the region.
Excellent. President Schmidt, I really appreciate your time. This has been great. And as you go out to the West, go Dukes. Bring it back home.
Go Dukes. Thanks.